How would you handle this other immigration problem of people who come to the U.S. and overstay their visas? You have 60 seconds each. First to you, Dr. Oz.
There's no point talking about any strategy with people who have snuck in here, as often happens, through airports and bus stations, but not through the southern border until we deal with the southern border. Because in the southern border, unlike the two other situations, we're funding a cartel that is running a human trafficking operation. And they have so much money that they make running people, human beings across the border, they can buy narcotics. And with those narcotics, which they run with the human beings that they're trafficking, they're able to allow Americans unknowingly to take fentanyl and die. This past week, that happened to the son of someone that was in my audience, and he was torn apart and angry about it, and understandably so. There's no question if you have 100,000 Americans dying of opiate overdose, which happened last year, that's 4 times more than died of COVID under the age of 50, we got a problem. So the border is a profit center for cartels. Once we deal with that border and close that down, we'll be able to get our arms around other forms of illegal immigration.
Ms. Barnett.
Yes, before I answer your question, Greta, allow me to say with McCormick once more that that he created within the World Economic Forum a division to combat what he calls systemic racism. We also know that the World Economic Forum is primarily responsible for these ESG scores, environmental social governance scores that will treat us like China treat their people with social credits. If you're good enough, if you're compliant enough, if you're woke enough, then you may be able to go ride the train today. That is what he's a part of that organization, as well as Mehmet Oz. As it relates to immigration, we not only have legal immigration issues, but we have illegal immigration issues. I think we all know about the illegal immigration issues. So we have to secure the border. We have to do the things that we need to do as far as enforcing Remain in Mexico First, safe asylum. But we also have a USCIS immigration issue as well. It is a broken organization that flows up to the Senate, and I will provide that jurisdiction over them.
Thank you, Ms. Barnett. And if you could hold your applause for time purposes, Mr. McCormick, you can respond for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I have no idea what she's talking about.
Well,
so,
it is awesome. We just tweeted it out a few moments ago.
Go ahead,
you
tweet away. I have no idea what she's talking about. I've answered the question, and in terms of the border, listen, it's absolutely critical we secure the border, as I've said on my website. I went to the border 6 weeks ago. I have the endorsement of Brandon Judd, who's the president of the Border Patrol Union. And we've got to fix that incentive problem. When people think they can come across, the cartels are in charge. They're exploiting. It's the most exploitive thing I've ever seen. And the fentanyl crisis is right here in Pennsylvania, and it's a disaster. We have to hit that first.
All right, you have probably 30 more seconds, because I gave for the reply. You have 30 more seconds on the overstaying visa thought.
Well, listen, the most important thing is to solve the southern border crisis. And we see that leading to crime in Pennsylvania. We see it in our sanctuary cities. And it's part of a broader woke movement and a liberal extreme set of agendas, which is really creating a lack of safety in our communities. And that fentanyl crisis is a really big deal. That fentanyl is manufactured in China. It has to be shut down. It comes across the southern border. It's managed by the cartels, and it's killing Pennsylvanians. We have to hit that, and we have to hit that hard.
Right. For our next question, we turn to KDKA radio anchor Rick Dayton.
Greta, thank you. This question is for Ms. Barnett, for Ambassador Sands, as well as for Mr. Bartos. My wife and I have 3 sons. All 3 of them graduated from suburban Pittsburgh high schools. 2 of them chose to attend college here in Pennsylvania. When they were done, it turns out that 2 of them also chose to leave Pennsylvania, leaving just 1 here. They chose to do that because of taxes, quality of life, and other opportunities elsewhere. For Ms. Barnett, Ambassador Sands, and Mr. Bartos, give me specifics. How do we reverse that troubling trend so that our top talent wants to stay here in the Commonwealth and other states that are dwindling in population?
Who first?
Go ahead, please, Ms. Barnett.
Yes. Almost every single problem we face in our country, and Pennsylvania will certainly be a part of that, is as a direct result of 22 years of real income stagnation for the bottom 90% in America. Now, how do we fix that? We get better people in office who can begin to guide our nation in a different direction. But when people primarily vote for Republicans because they believe once we get in office, we will actually go in and solve the root cause of problems. But when we get in and we squabble like a pack of hyenas and get nothing done for the people, then the people naturally pivot towards Democrats who won't solve your problem, but they will cut you a check. And that is how we're on this path where we find ourselves on the road to serfdom. So we need to get America First senators in office who will force the Federal Reserve to begin to stabilize the dollar or clarify their mandate to stabilize the U.S. dollar. Stabilizing the dollar raises the bottom 90% income over 90%. Doubling it over every generation. That is what we need to do if we want to grow our economy and keep our children here in Pennsylvania.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more questions for the candidates when we return. We go back to Rick Dayton, KDKA radio reporter, for the response to his questions.
Very good, Greta. Thank you very much. Ambassador Sands, going back to the question, specifics, if you would, about how we do away with this problem of dwindling population of the young talent that grew up here but doesn't live here anymore.
Absolutely. We need to create opportunity here in Pennsylvania. As I was growing up, and I have a lot of family in western Pennsylvania, we used to go there to visit them. They've been there since the 1770s. And as a matter of fact, we would drive through these thriving towns. And then as the decades went on, these towns hollowed out. People moved away because companies and jobs went offshore, largely to Asia. And it has caused a dearth of opportunity for our young people. We have world-class universities in Pennsylvania. We have world-class health care. We have the opportunity to harvest the energy in our ground, not just to power our country, but also to make products. We have enough energy under the ground in Pennsylvania to power the entire United States for 300 years. Those are going to be great paying jobs, and I hope that I will be able to partner with the next Republican governor to create opportunity and unlock the regulations at the federal and the state level so that our kids and our grandkids have that opportunity, that they don't have to leave Pennsylvania to find their future. It will be here. People complain to me.
Mr. Bartos, same question, please.
So I want to return to something that David said before. It's interesting that he wants to talk about different real estate and the pandemic. I spent the entire pandemic in 2020 fighting to save Main Street small businesses. David was hunkered down in Aspen, Colorado at one of his many homes. Now, how did he buy all those homes? He runs an investment fund, or he did until he moved to Pennsylvania a couple months ago to run for the Senate. Investment funds make it on fees. Our Peacer's pension fund that invests money for retired teachers and is paid in by existing teachers and staff in schools across the Commonwealth, his firm failed Pennsylvania seniors. Scott and I, when we campaigned in 2018, we met every week seniors who were struggling to stay in their homes because of property taxes. Firms like David's made $600 million over a decade. Pennsylvania seniors didn't get what they paid for. Indeed, they got screwed. David and his firm got rich. Pennsylvania seniors and all taxpayers got screwed.
David, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
David
I
McCormick.
grew up in that Main Street place that everybody here keeps talking about, where there was a carpet mill that was losing jobs. So I know exactly what people are talking about. And then I went and created jobs, 600 jobs here in Pennsylvania. I was part of the firm. I led that. That was a huge part of the success of the revitalization of Pittsburgh. I'm not going to apologize for the success I had. In terms of Peacer's made $4 billion. $4 billion. And this is a story that was planted by Mehmet in the New York Times and the teachers' unions. And here's the beauty of it, folks. You can go to the Peacer's website and see the facts for yourself. So this is a good example of things being completely misleading. And Mehmet's at the source of it, and Jeff's carrying his water.
We're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to the next.
Excuse me?
You're carrying Mehmet's water.
I'm carrying Mehmet's water. Why don't you talk to the state reps who serve on that board, the state treasurer who serves on that board, the very people who fight every day
facts,
to make...
Mehmet, $4 billion.
Talk to them.
$4 billion. We've got to move on.
$4 billion short. 2%
We've
and 20%.
got to move on to the next question.
Substandard returns. I could have gotten better returns in an S&P 500 index fund paying 10 basis points.